Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. This will be the Taroscopes for the sign of Taurus. That's Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising for the month of December 2023. Wow, what a year it has been. And what a year for you, Taurus. Of course, you have Jupiter and Uranus in your sign this year, and your ruling planet Venus went through a pretty intense retrograde period in the sign of Leo. Now, next year, Venus has no retrograde cycle, so she'll be moving through all the signs, um, as it were. So there's not any one particular area that she's going to get stuck in, so to speak. So things will feel a little different as 2024 comes along. But before we get to 2024, why don't we look at the last month of 2023, the 12th month, and this month vibrationally with the month and the year vibration is a 19-1. So this month is really about moving in a new direction. So let's see what the astrology says about that. Okay, let's see here. Share my screen. Sharing my screen. All right. All right. So of course we start the month with the sun in Sagittarius. The sun spends most of the month in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of other people's money, shared resources, taxes, death. When somebody passes away, you get the money. I always forget that word. Anyway, we also have a new moon in the sign of Sagittarius. That's also going to be happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is your shared resources, and it's also other people's money. So when we have planets in that house and you're looking to sort of find investors for a project or something like that, this is a good time to ask for that. Now, we do have a Mercury retrograde this month. So I wouldn't sign any contracts after Mercury goes retrograde, or if you have to sign a contract when Mercury is retrograde, I would definitely, it would be okay as long as whatever it was that you're signing was planned when Mercury was not retrograde. So don't worry about that so much. But that new moon in Sag in that 8th house can mean that you actually get a loan that you're asking for. Somebody invests in your project. So that's kind of exciting. Mercury does, as I said, go retrograde on the 13th. It starts the month. Right as soon as the month begins, it moves into Capricorn. So we're starting with Mercury in Capricorn, but it does have a retrograde cycle, and so we'll retrograde back into Sag. So it starts in the 9th house, and the 9th house is the big picture. So you're going to have the big picture, and then after the 13th, and then on the 23rd, it moves back into Sag. And so it would be sort of actually, at that point, it would be like, let's see if people are telling the truth here and do the research necessary for that for you. Venus is in Libra until the 4th and then spends most of the month in Scorpio. That is your house of partnerships. So Venus in Scorpio in your house of partnerships can be a lot of fun. But your 7th house also open enemies. The Venus in Scorpio there. If there's a jilted lover in the picture, you be careful. Because sometimes that Venus in Scorpio can be a little bit stingy, as it were, but it can also be a beautiful healing experience. Scorpio is where we merge with others, and so it can be a very satisfying experience as well. We just need to be, you don't want to you want to take any Venus and Scorpio action seriously, because they are seriously committed to loving you, or they can be seriously committed to killing you. So you just got to be aware. But usually they won't want to kill you until after you've betrayed them. So avoid that. Okay? That's kind of a joke. All right. Anyway, Mars is in Sag all month. Mars, of course, in Sag means that actually Mars in Sag. Okay, wait a minute. I have this. This is wrong here. Mars is in Sag. Mars is, this should not be here. So this Mars, X that out. It should not be there. This Mars is the Mars, right? This is the Mars in Sag in that 8th house of other people's money. It kind of goes along with getting resources and getting people to invest in you and your ideas, perhaps. Jupiter is retrograde until the last 30th of the month. It turns direct at 6 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is retrograde as well. It only moves about a degree. This, of course, is happening in your 1st house. Jupiter in that 1st house, moving direct. Uranus moving backwards in that. Of course, Uranus will be there, is in that 1st house for 7 years. So, and slowly, or maybe not so slowly and surely, transforming who you are. Saturn is moving forward now, finally, at a bit more of a pace, moving through that 11th house of new goals. So this is a time when you can actually sort of move forward on some of those new goals. Neptune is there, of course, for the duration, because Neptune spends 14 years in a sign. But Neptune does change direction this month. It changed directions on the 24th. It goes direct. Now, Neptune changing direction isn't always as big of a deal as the other transpersonal planets, or it can be a huge deal. So Neptune, of course, rules the sea, the ocean, water, floods, things like that. So be aware. I know, like, as I'm doing this, there's some big flooding happening down in Florida, and I'm doing this in November. So it could be a wet time here with Neptune changing direction. That's true for everyone. For you, Neptune changes direction in that 11th house of friends and networks, community, tribe, that kind of stuff. All right. Talk about Uranus. I did. I talked about Neptune. Pluto is now direct, moving through your 9th house. Now it's about ready to move out of that 9th house into your 10th house again, as it did in May to the beginning of July. Did I say May? March 23rd to July 2nd, I believe it was, when it was in Aquarius. So it's gonna go back there and spend pretty much the rest of your life, the rest of the time there, except for a 3-month period from September to November in 2024. That should be interesting for sure. So as far as things happening, I look to see what specific things are happening with Venus. A lot of really good stuff with Venus. We have Venus ingress into Scorpio. Now, some people might say that's not good, because Venus doesn't like being in Scorpio. But Venus in Scorpio is good. It's just that a lot of times people don't like Venus in Scorpio, because Venus can be kind of an energy of cooperation and compromise and willingness to work in partnerships. In Scorpio, they have their agenda, and Venus is a little more insistent in Scorpio, but no less pleasurable. They just, know what they want, know what they desire, and they go for it, right? So there is that energy with Venus. So it's an opportunity really for you to go for it. And Venus, of course, in Scorpio means that she's in your seventh house. And so, you know, seeking your desires within relationships is highlighted at this time. We do have a trine of Venus to Saturn in that first week. That's really nice. I have one of those natally, and it brings a lot of stability to your relationships. So that's really quite nice. We do have Venus making an opposition to Jupiter in that first week as well. It oppositions are points of awareness. You know, you're seeing the bigger picture of things. You're seeing how things sort of line up between you and others. Okay, so you're going to have a fuller picture of that. We have in week 2, we have Venus make a sextile to Mercury. Last month, Venus made a sextile to Mercury as well. Oh, or did they? Yes, yeah. And this is an opportunity for discussion. They're the two inner planets, the planet of love, the planet of communication, talking things up, talking things out. And it happens before the Mercury retrograde. So, yeah. So, there isn't the danger really of miscommunication as much. Okay. We do have that new moon in Sagittarius on that second week. And then the third week, we have Venus making an opposition to Uranus. Now, this one can be a little bit dicey because Uranus is sudden out of nowhere change, right? Uranus in that first house, Venus in the seventh house. This could be a sudden breakup because you don't feel like you're free enough. Okay, so that's a possibility, not and that doesn't have to be an actuality. Oppositions bring awareness to a situation, and so it will be awareness in a situation around you and your partner. On the fourth week, Venus makes a waning trine to Neptune. Venus and Neptune have a special relationship, as Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. The trine is a waning trine, so it brings that energy of social rewards, dissemination of information, learning something from each other. It's a lovely, lovely aspect. We also have a full moon that week. Nice to have Venus trine Neptune, and then the full moon coming in Cancer. So the full moon in Cancer is big feelings. For you, it's your third house, your house of your immediate environment. So I think you're going to have a really nice holiday season if you stay close to home. You'll probably have one even if you don't, but it'll be, I think, especially enjoyable and certainly emotionally emotional. Cancer is about home and family and growing up, and to a certain extent the past. You might find yourself reminiscing about past holiday seasons. Let's see. We also have at the end of the month, the last week, we have Venus making a sextile. Excuse me a second. Venus making a sextile to Pluto. This is a waning sextile, so it's an opportunity for progressive change. And then Venus ingresses into Sag. And then Venus is on her adventure, right? Venus is on her adventure. All right, so that's what's going on astrologically this month for you, Taurus. And let's stop the share. And I'm going to be doing a card reading using the modern Spellcaster deck. So what is in store for Taurus? Our little cows. The little bulls and cows and our little horny Tauruses. You know who you are. Okay. One more. Oh, nice. Ah, being problem child here. All right. Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. What a perfect Taurus card. So this says that you put a lot of effort into something and you're waiting and you're protecting your resources. You're watching and waiting and taking care. So you're waiting for things to develop. Challenge is the Two of Cups. This could be the challenge is sharing those developments. There was a lot of energy this month about shared resources. So that can be, it's a little hard for Taurus to share resources, mostly because it's not that they're not generous, because they can be very generous, especially with their time, and sometimes with their resources, but they like to be in control of it. They like for them to have they'll give you, they'll reach into their pocket and give you $100 bill, but they like to be holding it. They want to like hand it to you. Okay. Underneath it all is heartbreak and betrayal. So there's something that you're not trusting. There's something that maybe happened in the past that's making you question whether you can trust someone, or you've realized that you can't trust somebody right now. So let's continue to see what comes up with that. Yeah, you've been pretty stringent about your boundaries. Like there's a lot of boundary issues here. You're really vigilant. There's a real vigilance um in the past, certainly. In the sky we have the magician wanting to control, wanting to concentrate your energy. Um, in the sky, it does indicate that you have the capacity to do that if you focus. So, but you're in a place of rest, or at least that's what these cards are indicating that you need to do. So there isn't a whole lot of sort of moving forward and, forwarding ahead. It is time for you to rest. Maybe you need to take a little vacation because it has been a difficult year. How other people see you as very capable, very good at what you do. You're well respected. You're mentoring, you're teaching others, all very, very good cards. Let's see in your domestic situation. Oh boy. The King of Swords. Look at this guy. You are like, nope. If it's not fair, if it's not above board, if it's not. So there's this energy of kind of like putting, saying, he who enters here must pass the test of truth. Like that's the energy I get from this card. Um, this could also be a legal matter at home, around your home. Something legal could be. Now I did say you could get money from other people. Maybe you're investing. Maybe it's a mortgage. Maybe it's but everything has to go by the book. Everything has to be above board, because you're not going to let this happen to you again. You're not getting betrayed again. I wouldn't call it hedging your bets, because Taurus doesn't even like a hedge. Taurus likes to know, like a guarantee. Hopes and fears. Sorrow. Well, that's not a hope, that's a fear. Outcome. Yeah. Three of Wands. This is about putting word out. This is about yelling from the rooftop. So this is also commerce. So there's a possibility for success in commerce there. And I'm just going to pick, see if we can get a major arcana. The Seven of Cups. The Five of Wands. Honey. And the Eight of Cups. You are done with people who fight for fighting's sake and are too busy in their own illusions. Okay, you're done with that. You're not going there. You're not doing that. By the book. Let's see what's underneath it. Okay, the Victory card, the Hanged Man, and the Six of Swords. Okay, so what has happened here is that you have been, or you will be, victorious. You've looked at the situation that you found yourself in from a different perspective. And what it has helped you to do is to move away from those things that were draining you, those relationships that were maybe you were dealing with somebody who had an addiction. And as anybody who's had to deal with somebody with an addiction, it can be somewhat of a hamster wheel of pain, but you're moving away from that. So there's been a lot of lessons around love for you, I think, and that kind of makes sense with Venus being retrograde for so long in a sign that deals with our heart, what we love, our creativity. So so really what these cards are saying is that you're not going to be anybody's fool. Nobody is going to come in and take advantage of you again. Now, I don't know how long ago they took advantage of you, but you're pretty set and you're pretty done with idiots. I was going to say something else. Dopies. You're done with dopies and people who say they're going to do stuff and they don't, because they're all just, talking out of their butt, what the cards say. All right, well, you're in good stead. I don't think we have to worry about our Taurus friends. They're nobody's fool. Nobody's fool. Wow, powerful cards, Taurus. You guys burned a lot this year for Venus retrograde. Not making those mistakes again. All right, let's pull a Starseed Oracle for Taurus and see what that says. Oh, interesting cards, huh? Taurus not playing anybody's fool. So thirsty. Hold on one second. It's funny, I'm doing this Taurus reading, and these glasses are enormous. And I always feel like I live in a castle when I drink out of this glass. But they were my father-in-law's glasses. And he moved, and he's like anybody who wants to take anything from my home. He was moving into a new home. He was going to buy new stuff. He's in a different state, so he didn't want to have to drag it all the way to a different state. And I said to Michael, I love those glasses he always had. So we got his glasses, and I always my father-in-law is German, with a thick German accent, although you can't tell him that. He thinks he doesn't have one, but he's a love. Anyway, I just feel like somewhere in Bavaria drinking out of a goblet when I drink out of those. All right, let's see here. Oops. Okay. Whale and orca elders, share your song frequency of sound, diving deep. Beautiful card, huh? All right. It's interesting because Taurus rules the throat. A lot of Tauruses have beautiful singing voices. Oops, here we go. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. The whale and orca elders are benevolent cosmic beings here to anchor a frequency of love onto the planet, to harmonize it with their song. As they weave around the oceans, they do so much more than any of us know. Their physical presence affects Earth's magnetic field, and their harmonics call us to wake up and remember our own soul's song. Look into the eyes of a whale is something you will never forget. Whales see into your very being, and in an instant, you're changed forever. I have friends who were kayaking. They live in, my girlfriend lives in on San Juan Island, on Friday Harbor, San Juan Island, and her girlfriend that she went to high school with were kayaking, and an orca actually like went under their kayaks and looked at them with one of its eyes. And that's exactly what they said. They said it was terrifying and wonderful and a freaking religious experience. I hope someday I'm lucky enough and I'm wearing Depends because that would scare the bejesus out of me. Anyway, so let's continue. On that note, let's continue. They see beyond the physical, the woundings, the identity, the personality, the story. They see right into your soul. If you pull this card, you are being called to surrender to your deepest truth and share it with potency, to bow to who you truly are, to stretch your heart wide enough to hold it all, to leave your fears, doubts, and baggage at the door, to question any part that doesn't feel good enough. The whale and orca elders want you to give others the privilege of seeing who you truly are and for you to see the same in other beings, to drop your hangups and personality flaws and get busy revealing the unique note your soul came here to sing. Allow the song that echoes in the four chambers of your heart to emanate in all four directions. Peel back the layers of suffering and pain and reveal to others your soul's true song, and endeavor to see the soul of those of all you meet. So you have the right to your boundaries. You've learned a lot. This card reminds you not to, in your fervor to keep your boundaries strong, to forget the song of your soul and the song of the soul of others, because we cannot do it alone. We do need each other. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe. A thumbs up, a share is very helpful for the algorithm, which means it's helpful for me. Who thought I'd ever say that? If you would like a reading, this is a perfect time to set up a reading for 2024 before prices go up. Although I don't exactly know when I intend to put the prices up. But I like to say that at the end of the year, all the same. They may stay the same. I'll see. If you'd like a reading with me, I do an hour and a half readings, and I do hour readings. If it's your first time, the 90-minute reading is preferred by me. If you can afford to do it, the 60-minute reading is good. If it's an update, I do a combination of astrology, numerology, and Kabbalah, and they're very unique. And if you're wondering what that reading might look like, you can check out any of my In the News segments, because that's the kind of reading I do on famous people. You don't have to be famous, but you'll be famous to me if I do the reading on you. It's been a really challenging year, and I want to thank you for navigating it along with me. It's been a real pleasure and a real honor. And have yourself a wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate a holiday, have a wonderful season all the same. And I will see you again in January. Until then, from my heart to yours and my home to yours. Namaste.